Alright, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, going through a series of video presentations for the Rankin Technical College AWD Application and Web Development 1111 .NET Framework with Web Databases class. Our textbook is ASP.NET MVC with Entity Framework and CSS by Lee Naylor, and I'm beginning Chapter 9 of 18. As you can see, the chapter is entitled Creating and Viewing Orders, and as we look here, the chapter covers reviewing or working with orders, including creating them via a checkout process, viewing the details of orders as either an administrator or a user, and searching or sorting them. We'll use the display and editor templates of the address type created earlier in the book to simplify some of the code. We also, again, this book does not take it to the point where you would actually be adding something and trying to pay for it with PayPal or whatever. All right, so bottom of page 333, modeling orders. We are going to model orders in a similar way to the basket, with an order consisting of a list of order lines. However, when we model the basket, we did not store the basket in the database, whereas we are going to store both the order and the order lines in the database to model orders. We're going to add a one-to-many relationship between users and orders. In other words, a user can have 0, 1, or more orders, but any one order can be placed by only one user. So we want to add two new classes to the models folder, an order class and an order line class. So here will be the order class, and it will continue on to the next page. Let's copy that. So let's go back into here. Let's close this. Go back to here, go to our models folder, right mouse click, add class. First one we're going to add again is order. There it is. As we start to add things to it, there's the first things that we're adding. Whoops, well, that was on me. So let's remove all this. That looks a little better. I think this will go away in a minute, but we'll see. Oh, we don't have our data annotations added, so we will add that. Fix that. All right. Again, because I like to do it this way, I like my annotations to basically be on several lines like this because I think it makes it easier to deal with them. So let's move on to the next page in our text, 334, and let's add the other things here that we want. Now, I don't want to confuse anyone, but let's take a second here. Let's take a second and take a look at what an order consists of. An order consists of an order ID, a user, a deliver to, which has got some kind of an address, a total price, the time the order was created, and this order line. Now, the reason that the order line that we're getting the error right now is we haven't created that class yet. So let's save all, right mouse click on our models again, choose add class, and this will be order line. All right. We will hit enter. All right. And again, I will just drop the code in as it's shown in our textbook right here. Again, we're going to get the problem because we don't have the data annotations in here. Oh, that was interesting. I think that's going to come back as an error in just a couple of minutes, but we'll see. There it is. All right, so again, we come on to here. Are we missing a reference? Yes, we are. So let's just come over to the orders where we have this, and let's grab this data annotations, copy it to the clipboard, come over to order lines, and paste it in. Okay, let's save all, back to order. Doesn't like this. Show potential fixes. Not sure why I would need that. What I wanted is to add that builder properties there, so I did. All right, this looks like it has no errors, and now so does this one. All right. These two new classes will represent an order and the lines from the basket for the order. We store the product name in each order lines to maintain a record of the product bought, even if the actual product entity is deleted from the database. We also store the unit price in the order lines because this will be the price at the time of the order. In the future, this could change, so we'll record this as the order is placed. The order lines will contain two foreign keys via the properties product ID and order ID to relate products in orders. Product ID is nullable since the website products allows products to be deleted, although in a real system they probably wouldn't be. All right. The author says, Entity Framework 6 does not support cross-database querying. Therefore, we have not included a navigational property to the application's user class. Rather, we'll use the Entity Framework to manually relate users to orders. Next, update our store context so that we add these two, which should make sense. These will end up being our tables. So we want to go to DAL, store context, go down to the bottom, paste those two in. All right, let's do a save all. We haven't saved in a bit, so that's done. I think we can close this now. Before we proceed with updating the database for the new order and order lines entries, we're going to add some extra code to the seed method to create some sample order and order lines data as followed. All right, previous code omitted for brevity. So we want to go to the seed method and add the code that's on pages 335 and 336. So I want to put that down at the bottom, which would make sense because it's new code. So we want to go back to our migrations. Now that I look at this, under our migrations, the author changed the name of the configuration file to store configurations. I never did that. All right, I don't really think that'll be any kind of an issue, but I'm saying it for lack of better words for completeness sake, so you've at least heard that. All right, so I'm going to go down to the bottom here. I'm going to put it at the very bottom because that looks like that's what they tell us to do. Paste that in. Again, I might get mistakes. Okay. Var orders. And I think I'm going to need that same Owen file that we talked about earlier. That over. And this over. All right. So with this, not sure why I have to add that, but I do. All right. All right. It's interesting. I can add this. Okay, now I added I don't want to do that either. Well, let's just labor on. All right, equals new address. There, I had to add the using system. That fixed the date time problems. That did not fix this address problem. When I come in here and I add this Owen, then it gives me other errors, or it did. There, see that? It says it does not contain a thing for address 1, etc. But if I leave that out, then it's giving me this error. Wow. Okay. Now it just kind of went away. That's fine too. So I think that's going to go down here then, my next one. I'll find out in a minute. All right. Let's copy that. All right. Well, okay, I'm not going to mess with this stuff, you know, if for no other reason, because it's not giving me any errors, right? It wasn't giving me any errors. All right. Okay, leave it like that. Now, the author had said on the previous page that these classes, these two new classes that we just created here, they will represent an order and the lines, the basket for the order. All right. So we are now updating the data access layer store context.cs file to ensure that the database context contains a reference to the new order class and the new order line class. Then we came in and we upgraded the seed method as shown. They mention here, ensure that you add the statement using system at the top of the file. Here the date created property is used to distinguish which orders to update, and the order ID property is used to decide which order line to update. These properties are used because the dates are unique and in the past. Therefore, the seed method won't get any conflicts with new orders, and we know that the order ID starts from 1 in sequence and is the easiest way to ensure we don't get any conflict when updating order lines. Using other properties such as product ID and unit price will cause an error informing you that that more than one item exists in the sequence, because the seed method will find duplicate records if additional orders have been placed with the site users. Next, open up the package manager console, which we have not used in a bit, but you know what, I'm going to save first. There's our package management console. Again, mine is different. I just do an add minus my, oops, oh, that was right. Add minus migration. Add orders. All right, and I don't need to do that store configuration because I didn't change my name. And then I'll do an update data. Oh, crud. The project failed to build. All right, well, let's do this first then. Let's save all, and let's do a build solution. I don't know if that'll help. I don't know if that'll do anything. Wow, boatloads of errors. And it goes back to what we had in here before. It's the same thing we had before with this address problem. I do believe that by doing that, we're going to get the other error back again. See that? So we'll remove that. So it has problems with each one of these addresses that are in here. So I'm going to pause, check on this, see if I can figure out what the problem is, and I will be back in just a moment. Actually, being at 18 minutes, this is probably a good place to stop part 1 of this lecture.